Hi, welcome. Welcome to our Bhava Sunday broadcast. I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad to be here, showing up for Spirit, delivering the message of Divine Spirit. Thank you, thank you, thank you for joining us today. What you just heard was a sound bath from our fabulous and amazing Chris Blum, who's our one of our leadership team in Eugene, Oregon, and she put that little sound bath together for us so that we could open ourselves up and relax and calm our being and body and spirit. And she's also going to join us on panel today, so you guys are going to get to know her a little bit. So that's really cool. I want to take a minute and introduce us. Who the heck are we? If you're not familiar with us, we are the Bhava Spiritual Mission. So we are a church. We're a digital church, and our goal is to help you connect with Divine Spirit through the modalities of your intuition, psychic, mediumship skills, channeling skills. That's what we're all about, is getting out of the way and hooking in directly with Divine Spirit. I'm Ingrid Turner. I'm the founder of the Bhava Spiritual Mission, and I also run our school. So our school is aimed to help you hone in on your gifts, find your gifts, and take those spiritual gifts out into the world. Anybody who is called to be of service to Divine Spirit in this lifetime, particularly during this incredible paradigm shift, that's what we focus on, is helping you heal your blocks, really hone in and find your gifts, and then build a platform and take those out into the world. So that's us in a nutshell. Our format today is, you just heard our sound healing. In just a few minutes, I'm going to deliver the message from Divine Spirit. So every week I show up, I open myself up, I channel the message, and I bring it through in the way that it is clearly and concisely as I can. My job is unglamorous. It's to get out of the way. So if I bring it through and it resonates with you, I've done my job well and moved out of the way. After I deliver the message, we're going to have a couple of our Bhava babes, Chris Blum, who I mentioned earlier, and Brittany Stokes are on, and we're going to talk about the message. We're going to expand on the message from Spirit. All of us can be channels. We can all connect to Spirit. That's the whole premise of Bhava, and what we do is anybody who wants to can connect. And if you feel that pull, if you feel that interest, you're meant to open up and hone those gifts. So the powerful piece of the format that we have is, I'm going to show up and deliver the message. I tune into my spirit guide. His name is Mons. He dictates it very clearly to me. And then Brittany and Chris have had an opportunity to receive the message early and sit with it and tune into Spirit in their own unique way, and then expand on that message. And I say this every week, and I'm going to say it again because I think it's a great analogy. I use the analogy of a patchwork quilt. I've got a piece, Chris has a piece, Brittany has a piece, and you have a piece. Part of our panel discussion is audience Q&A. So I want you to receive the message today. I want you to let it sink into your whole being, and we're going to ground in to make sure you're really able to do that. And then I want you to share your thoughts, your feelings, your impressions, your questions with us, because we will pull up your comments on our panel and we will address those. We'll address those comments. It's not about the individual, it's about the collective experience. It's about coming to understand the message and the direction the divine spirit is nudging us into so that we can show up and live our best life personally and help ourselves and the whole world move from fear to love. That's how we cement in this new paradigm. That's how we move through the current drama and the chaos and everything that's happening with this big shakeup on our planet, because we're moving into a new paradigm of love and joy and community. And it's a crazy, chaotic process because change is always crazy. Change is always chaotic. If you think about big changes you've had in your life, like moving house, oh my God, everything falls apart until you get put back together and then you're in your new lovely place and you're happy again. But the transition is always chaotic. We can shorten the duration of our transition from a paradigm of fear and scarcity to our paradigm of love and community and plenty. We can shorten that paradigm by moving ourselves out of fear and into love consistently and vigilantly every day and showing up to be a beacon of love for other people. So that's what I'm hoping to be here for you today. And that's what Chris and Brittany are committed to being today, is we want to be beacons of love. We want to help you move out of the fear and into the love and cement in this new paradigm so we can live a glorious life on this planet and in this universe, in this sliver of creation. Okay, that being said, let's do this. I'm going to go ahead and ground us in, and then I'm going to read the message and I'll talk about it just a little bit. And then we're going to bring on our panel and talk to you. Okay. So if you're able to, go ahead and close your eyes and take 3 deep breaths with me, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Feel your energy pool in your root chakra. Maybe you'll feel warm or tingly, or you'll just be aware that it's happening. Take a deep breath in and pull the energy from your root into your heart. Exhale and hold the energy in your heart. Inhale and pull the energy from your heart into your crown. Exhale and hold the energy in your crown. Inhale and pull the energy out of your body. Feel it connect to divine source energy. And with the out breath, pull that energy back into your body and into your heart. Breathe in and hold the energy in your heart. Breathe out and pull the energy down to your root. Breathe in and hold the energy in your root. Breathe out and push the energy down your legs and into your feet. Breathe in and hold the energy in your feet. Breathe out and push the energy into the earth. Feel that energy hook in with the earth's core, and take a deep breath in and pull it back up towards your feet. Exhale. Inhale and feel the energy hit the soles of your feet and move up your legs and pull again in the root chakra, and exhale into your root chakra. Okay. Now I'm just going to ask you to just keep breathing. Keep your eyes closed if you want to. I want you to intentionally hear this message with your whole being, not just with your ears or your eyes, but with your whole aura, your whole body. Picture the divine matrix, creation, as a great swelling, bellowing, flowing, churning body of water. You are made up of the same stuff as this watery divine energy, but you have something extra, a piece that enables you to experience yourself outside of this great body of divine water. That experience can take many forms. You can feel like you're floating on top of the water, like you're submerged in the water, like you're tumbling with rapids, like you're swimming with the ecstatic current or fighting against the flow. You can feel like you are floating, or you can feel like you are drowning. All of these experiences of the divine water are the ways you come to understand every layer of love, every sliver, every nuance, every dimension of creation, through the experience of separation from the great body of the divine. But all of this is only experience of separation. You are not truly separate. You are the divine water, like the wave is the ocean, separate from the great whole only for one glorious crescendo, and then warmly merging back with the whole, breathless with the exhilarating experience of separation. The point of your life, dear human, is to experience the divine water more fully than you ever have before. There is no right or wrong way to do this, but if you are tuning into this transmission, we invite you to shift your experience to a life of joyful play rather than fighting the turbulence, if you wish it. The experience of suffering is the mind swimming against the divine current. We encourage you to surrender the will of the mind to the will of the divine and allow yourself to relax into your current experience, whatever that may be. We invite you to risk faith and see where the current of energies takes you. Every experience is begging to be savored, not pushed away. If you respond to our invitation in the affirmative, we guarantee you this: a full, meaningful, varied life, not without pain, but without needless suffering. You are divine. You belong with the divine. You are love. You belong with love. This experience of your separation is the journey home to more complete love. This journey is honored by all of creation. We delight in your adventures. Let it be easy. Surrender, and you'll be rich in all things. Okay, let's take a minute, close our eyes, take a deep breath. Just let that message sink into your being, sink into your body. Try not to worry too much about remembering every word or what you will or won't recall. Trust that what needs to come to the surface will come to the surface when it's ready and you need it to come to the surface. And if you joined while I was delivering that message from Spirit, I'm going to read it again in just a little bit. So stay tuned in. All right. And again, we want to hear your comments. We want to hear your questions. We want to hear how that lands for you, what comes through for you. I actually didn't have a lot to share personally about this message. A lot of times when I deliver the message, I'll start, ding, 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 things that have happened in my own life, things that have, examples, personal examples. And with this one, it just felt very self-explanatory. I will say that Mars retrograde kicked my ass a little bit, and that's okay. I've decided that, Mars retrograde or any planet's retrograde, and we have Brittany on too so she's going to be able to dig into this a little deeper. She's our star astrologer in Bhava. So retrograde planets are here to not cause us problems or even slow us down, but to unearth what we're not seeing. And what happens is when we're going along and we have a mental picture of how our life looks like and what's happening, retrograde can come in if there's things that we're not seeing, and it can dig up those things so that we can see them. And that's where I felt this message really strongly, certainly applied to me. And I'm sure I'm not alone because the energies are retrograde, right? We have Mars retrograde and we're going into Mercury retrograde. So these planets, these energies, if you have things going on in your life that need to be, and things need to be unearthed, they will be unearthed. And the invitation from Spirit is fall into it. Don't let your mind backtrack you or cause you suffering. And it's also okay if you let your mind cause you suffering. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm organizing my notes here. Oh, here we go. I found them. Things to say that I wrote down. I want to touch on something that I thought was really cool that came through Spirit is Spirit talked about risking faith. Like take the risk of faith. What does that mean? The risk of faith to me felt like a new perspective of falling into faith, of bolstering our faith, of fostering our faith. Risking faith is risking the ego. It's losing the ego. It's losing our mental projection. It's such an interesting way the Spirit came through and said, take the risk faith, risk it, see what happens. And of course, we all know when we do risk faith, what happens? We fall into the divine, we fall into flow, we fall into the life of our dreams. It can feel like such a massive risk though. So understanding that feels really important. Just a couple of things I wanted to call out. Like I said, I don't have tons to say about this, but we got some good comments, and I'm looking forward to this discussion with our Bhava babes. So take a minute, take a breath. Let's go ahead and bring on our panel. I'll read the message one more time, and then we'll keep talking about it. All right. I love you all so much. Hi, babies.
Hi.
Oh, I'm so happy you're here. Hey, can I read our message one more time? And then we'll talk about it. Does that feel good? I think that feels
Sounds great.
Yeah, okay. Here we go. Picture the divine matrix, creation, as a great swelling, bellowing, flowing, churning body of water. You are made up of the same stuff as this watery divine energy, but you have something extra. A piece that enables you and you alone to experience yourself outside of this great body of divine water. That experience can take many forms. You can feel like you're floating on top of the water, like you're submerged in the water, like you're tumbling with rapids, like you're swimming with the ecstatic current, or fighting against the flow. You can feel like you are floating or feel like you are drowning. All of these experiences of the divine water are the ways you come to understand every layer of love, every sliver, every nuance, every dimension of creation through the experience of separation from the great body of the divine. But all of this is only the experience of separation. You are not truly separate. You are the divine water, like the wave is the ocean, separate from the great whole only for one glorious crescendo, and then warmly merging back with the whole, breathless with the exhilarating experience of separation. The point of your life, dear human, is to experience the divine water more fully than you ever have before. There is no right or wrong way to do this, but if you are tuning into this transmission, we invite you to shift your experience to a life of joyful play rather than fighting turbulence, if you wish it. The experience of suffering is the mind swimming against the divine current. We encourage you to surrender the will of the mind to the will of the divine and allow yourself to relax into your current experience, whatever that may be. We invite you to risk faith and see where the current of energies takes you. Every experience is begging to be savored, not pushed away. If you respond to our invitation in the affirmative, we guarantee you this: a full, meaningful, varied life, not without pain, but without needless suffering. You are divine. You belong with the divine. You are love. You belong with love. This experience of your separation is the journey home to more complete love. This journey is honored by all of creation. We delight in your adventures. Let it be easy. Surrender, and you will be rich in all things. Hi, ladies. Thank you.
Hi.
So let's talk about this a little bit amongst ourselves. Chris, I'd like to call on you. I'd like to have you introduce yourself real quick so people know a little bit about you, and then talk about what comes up. What's your piece of the patchwork quilt? Let's hear it. Chris, let's start.
Awesome. Hi, everybody. I'm Chris Blum. I'm here in Eugene, Oregon. Lovely cloudy day as usual. I also do the Spirited Soul podcast. So I play singing bowls. Along with tons of other things. I've always got way too much on my plate. So I read Ingrid's message yesterday like 3 or 4 times and read it again this morning and kind of started to feel into it. And it really resonated with me. Divine creation in water. We all start our lives in water, in an embryonic sac, growing from a blob of cells into a human being or whatever, cat, dog, bug, whatever. I really started to feel into that, and we all start there. And there's something very powerful about letting go and leaning into the energy of the water. And like it is dangerous. It's you can float on it and be happy, or you can lose control and drown in it. And so leaning into the feeling of floating and letting go of the fear and taking control, I think, is kind of what resonated with me. And I did make some notes here, so let me read them because I'm a little all over the place. But it's and part of it is just really learning to let go. Like, I think and meditation is kind of what I'm feeling here. To get into the divine, you really need to learn to let go and meditate and stop your monkey brain from flowing with ideas. And when you reach that point, at least for myself personally, when my first or second sound bath, I was gone. Like, I was floating, I was out of my body, and it was such an intense connection with spirit and the divine, and just learning to let go and flow and just let it out.
Somebody described that connection with the divine last week a couple weeks ago, is orgasmic. One of our Bhava said it was orgasmic. Totally is. I just did not sure why that popped in. But anyway, yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you, Chris. Okay, Brittany, introduce yourself and tell us what comes to you from this message today. Talk about it.
Yeah, hi, I'm Brittany Stokes. I'm from Grass Valley, California. This message definitely resonates with me. Like you say, this Mars retrograde, it's kicking my ass too. It's been hard. It's been a really rough, I want to say couple of weeks, but I think it's been longer than that. I think it's been a rough couple of months.
Yeah.
It's like coming to a crescendo right now.
Yes.
And so water has been a huge theme that came up for me when I was in the middle of a struggle. I was definitely not flowing, kind of clawing and grasping at the banks, not letting the water take me. And I was led intuitively to take a salt bath and to get into some water. And when I did, that same message, Chris, came to me. I was meditating in the water, and it was just, bam, the earth is water. It's mostly made of water. Our bodies are mostly made of water. Everything comes from water. And, ancient primordial beings used to live in the water. And when we came out of the water, we still need it to survive. And when we are in our womb, we're living in water. Yeah. So it really has become this balm, like this incredibly feminine, divine feminine energy that's come to me in a great time of need, and has allowed me to flow with this energy that's really intense right now. Also, I wanted to share something with you guys. When Ingrid was reading her channeled message, I kept getting the image of someone stepping into a raging river, taking what I would call a leap of faith, and not clawing and tearing at the banks trying to hang on, but letting go and bobbing through the water, just keeping your head above the water and letting it take you. And I thought, that actually reminds me of something. I've heard of this before. I've had this visual before. So I went poking around looking for it online, and I found this Hopi prophecy, a Hopi elder prophecy. And is it okay if I read it?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah, if you feel called to. Go for it.
You have been telling people that this is the 11th hour. Now you must go back and tell the people that this is the hour, and there are things to be considered. Where are you living? What are you doing? What are your relationships? Are you in right relation? Where is your water? Know your garden. It is time to speak your truth. Create your community. Be good to each other. And do not look outside yourself for a leader. This could be a good time. There is a river flowing now very fast. It is so great and swift that there are those who will be afraid. They will try to hold on to the shore. They will feel that they are being torn apart and will suffer greatly. Know the river has its destination. The elders say we must let go of the shore, push off into the middle of the river, keep our eyes open and our heads above the water. And I say, see who is in there with you and celebrate. At this time in history, we are to take nothing personally, least of all ourselves. For the moment that we do, our spiritual growth and journey come to a halt. The time of the lone wolf is over. Gather yourselves. Banish the word struggle from your attitude and your vocabulary. All that we do now must be done in a sacred manner and in celebration. We are the ones we've been waiting for.
Oh, yes.
Beautiful.
So Brittany, that was gorgeous. Two things is the rapids that you saw. I saw that too when I was doing the message. I get a lot of visuals. It was one of the visuals that I saw around the water is a big rapid. That same kind of like you have to relax and go with it. You just have to bob with it. The other thing is what you just read is very reminiscent of a dream that one of our Bhava ministers, Heather Foster, had several months ago. She talked about it on one of our calls, but she had a real vivid dream about a rushing river and actually, and the banks of the river and people hanging on and her family, you know, her people sort of like diving into the river. It was something like that. I have to get her to remind me if she remembers what the dream was. This was months ago though. So she had like a literal dream that matches up with that Hopi prophecy. You can't make this up. This is amazing.
Beautiful.
I got the same visualization as the river. And, you know, growing up, well, not growing up, but my dad living on a river with class 4 rapids, you know, one of the things that you learn is that if you get thrown out of the boat and you fall into the river, you cross your hands, you point your feet down river, and you let the river take you to a calm spot. And, you know, the problem is it's cold, but like you can survive the craziness if you just pull yourself in, put your feet towards the fire and just go down with it, as opposed to like trying to climb onto the, because if you climb onto the trees and the stuff on the side of the river, you can actually get caught up in it and they can pull you under. So it's, you know, it's so the current can actually kill you, you know, that's wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Chris, that's the same as a riptide in the ocean. A riptide,
exactly.
They always say, let it take you out, and then you can swim an arc all the way back to shore. Don't try to fight the riptide. You will get exhausted and you will drown. So that's very interesting. Yeah, it's the same idea. Yeah. So when water has you in its grip, you've got to go with the flow.
Yeah. Yeah. And bringing that back, what is life then? What is our experience? What is our human experience? It's divine water. You got to go with the flow. And I really I want to kind of bring this angle in as well and talk about this because Spirit really came in and showed me about sort of the fallacy of right and wrong, like what's right, a right way and a wrong way to do life, to do our experience. And it's interesting. I was channeling this message and bringing it through. And right as I kind of wrote the words, wherever I wrote it in here, something about like, it's like, you know, you can do it however you want. My partner behind me had been meditating and he piped in with something along the lines of right and wrong is not real. It's not right and wrong. It's all divine. It's like we got the same download right at the same instance. And I feel like that's really important to talk about because one of the ways that we really go against the flow is to even resist the fact that we're going against the flow. Self-judgment. We're doing it wrong. We're not good enough. We're not right. That's just not a thing per divine spirit. It's like we're here to experience every piece of it. But the invitation today for all of us tuning in and listening is to let it be easy, to let go and go with the flow and see where it takes you. Because like you say, when you cross your arms and you point your feet, you're going to end up in calmer waters. You're going to end up where you want to get to. So do you guys have anything you want to say about that little piece of it, about like, it's not about right and wrong? Brittany, let's start with you.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the clawing at the shore that I was envisioning when I see someone not wanting to let go and let things be what they are. There's a grasping, a controlling, a trying to keep things the same or keep things from changing. And that's huge right now. I mean, things are changing. They're changing really quickly. Mm-hmm. And it's almost hard to keep up if if you are trying to hang on to something that maybe you liked. Maybe you really enjoyed the way there was a certain structure to your life or a certain flow that you enjoyed, and then all of a sudden it gets changed, it gets rocked. Yeah, I'm gonna have to say this is when intuition has to come in. If it doesn't feel good and you feel like you're struggling, I'm not gonna say that's wrong or right. It's just not working. And that's it's not, yeah. So we can put right and wrong aside, and I love this part of your channeled message where it says follow your joy.
Yeah.
Be happy. This is the only thing that is worthwhile. And this was the only thing that was worthwhile before all these changes happened. But now it's like becoming incredibly clear that the only thing that's going to be useful and the only thing that's going to serve you is your joy, your bliss. Yeah. What makes you feel joy? And to follow that. And your intuition's going to lead the way.
Yeah. I like what you said is it's not about right and wrong. It's about, is it right for you? Or you said something like that. What I just got was it's either alignment or not alignment. Mm-hmm. It's not right and wrong. It's alignment or not alignment. And that's okay. Okay, Chris, over to you. What do you think? What comes to you with this, like, kind of sifting, moving out of this right and wrong linear thinking mentality?
I've shifted out of that a long time ago. I just, I am my own unique being with my own unique beliefs and the only unique ways that I was raised and my own set of values and rules and, whatever it is that you want to call them. And they don't always align with what other people's are. And I just learned to accept everybody for who they are and realize that what's unique and different about everybody is what really makes them special. And we don't all have to have the same mindset. We don't, and so right and wrong, I don't like those words. And I like what Brittany said about, go with your gut. And if it doesn't feel good to you, then move on, find something else. I've done that in all areas of my life, job, relationships. It's like when you really start to feel into it and you're like, there's something not right there. And it's time to find something that doesn't make you feel that way.
Yeah.
And going after the joy and trying to I try and set each day with a positive intention, even if it's just one, just to start the day off on a positive note, just so that momentum builds throughout the day. But yeah.
Let me ask you this question. What if the work that you both have done so much work in moving out of this, like beating yourself up, self-judgment, making it hard on yourself. Can you guys talk a little bit about you touched on it a little bit, Chris, but like a little bit more in depth about your process, because I feel like what I'm getting pinged with is that's the biggest way that we step out of flow is we really judge ourselves for perceived wrongs, even in our spiritual life, in our spiritual commitment. And you guys are, that's the big work we do in Bhava is, let's not, let's move out of that. But you guys have done, been working on this really your whole lives. So I'd love to hear you share some of the tools, tips, tricks, what you do on a daily basis, what you have come to, what experiences you've had that have helped you separate from that self-flagellating ego trip about I'm wrong, I'm bad, I'm doing it wrong, and keeping yourself stuck in that capacity. What do you think, Chris? Take that one.
I still do that. I mean, COVID-15, come on. It's like, I get up and I'm like, okay, I'm going to eat good all day. And then something happens and I go for a piece of cake, I think part of it is you got to let it go. And I think the other part is our right and wrongs aren't necessarily coming from us. They're coming from other people, right? It's the judgment of others that's making you feel like something you're doing is right or wrong. Spiritually, my dad is not into it. He's agnostic. So this is an area he called the Crystal Singing Bowls the Gong Show. Am I going to let that bug me? No. Whatever. I love my dad, but I can't take on his shit. And so I pick and choose, and I'm not going to let somebody else's crap get in the way of me becoming a better person. And it's very hard and it's scary. It's a big leap of faith to kind of go against everybody else, and I don't, and that's probably not the right word, but just standing up for yourself and your beliefs, it's very difficult. And I think you pick one thing and then it's successful and you pick another. And as you start to build momentum, that snowball starts to build up. And then you eventually get to the point where you're like going so fast, you're like, bye.
That is it. I love that you brought that up about like kind of family dynamics and then living your authentic life, and how it is a lot of times it is the perception, at least, of what other people are thinking about what we're doing. And those of us who are like the rainbow sheep in our families, we really go against the grain. And, it's having the courage to do it anyway, even though you've got mental stuff going on, is really powerful. Because what happens when you do have the courage to just do it anyway, you start to lose the attachment to maybe not even just your family, but it can be a cultural thing. And I envision these as like ties down our spirit. They're tied to
like weights holding down the balloon.
Yes, exactly. We got to cut those tie downs, not just pull them out, but cut them, and then let ourselves float. And that can be a really scary thing. But that is where I agree with you. That is where so much of the self-judgment, self-flagellation comes from. It's not even ours. It's self-inflicted. And getting into the flow of life, what makes that easier is letting go of that, doing the big work around letting go of that. And that doesn't mean that you necessarily abandon your tribe or your family or anything. It's about your attachments and taking responsibility for your attachments, cutting the tie downs. I love that you brought that up. Thank you. Brittany, what about you?
Yeah, I love what Chris said about really bringing it back to yourself, and finding that backstop for yourself. Where is it that I'm not going to go? And values, really, like, what is it inside of me that matters? And I'm going to start over with that and say, I think the first indicator of when I'm getting into a ego trip or power struggle is discomfort. My body, I'll feel it in my body, and I'll start getting physically uncomfortable. And I have to use my mind-body connection at that point to start kind of weeding through, figuring out what's mine, what's theirs. I'm uncomfortable about the situation, but, the only person I can control or basically the only thing that has the only thing I have a real hold on is myself.
Yeah.
And so the first thing that came to mind when I was hearing Chris talking about it is mind my own. And I can't worry so much about what other people are going to do. You just got to take it back into myself. Where am I going? What am I doing? How am I feeling? And that's part of that following your joy as well, because when you're uncomfortable, something's wrong. And that's when I know I'm like, hey, I gotta sit back, and I've got to first of all, don't take it personally. And I got to really understand what about this is making it. What do I need to change? What can I change? What can't I change to make myself feel more joy, more comfort? And so, it's a process. I do use my mind and my body together. I have to integrate the two. I don't get stuck just in my body. I don't get stuck just in my mind, but I do have to use the two. And I need some, space and time to do this so that I'm not taking it all out on everyone around me.
Yeah. Solo time is really important. Hey, we have a comment from Jessica here that I want to bring up. Jessica says her boyfriend has said, let it be easy for years. Yes. I've had success at absorbing it into my life and mind. That is such a powerful phrase, Jessica, that you bring up. And it's something that I use all the time. It was something that popped into my head as well. And it felt like a download from Spirit and your boyfriend. But a lot of people got it around the same time when Spirit was like, let it be easy. Have you all noticed that? Like, look at us and the whole message that we received. Water was big symbolism for me. And both of you jumped in and said, oh, I'm getting that too. It's just, we're all kind of getting the same message through different lenses, through different filters. In order to share it with and reach more people, because different people are going to connect with us respectively. But Jessica, that let it be easy phrase is so powerful, because truly, what is the path of least resistance? That is the path that is meant for you. And oh my God, do we have conditioning against that? I don't know about y'all. Actually, I do know about y'all, but like, dude, it's like, if you're not working hard and suffering, you're not doing it right. It's not working for you. And deconstructing that conditioning around, I have to struggle, I have to survive, I'm struggling is always an I'm struggling. dismantling that and pausing, going, wait, what's the path of least resistance here? How can I let this be easier? And then let go of anything that feels like a struggle and watch the chips fall where they're meant to fall. Watch yourself shoot into that calm water and be like, oh, this is easy. And I find a lot of guilt and shame can be associated with that as well, with letting it be easy. Do you know what I mean? When things are too easy, you can kind of feel guilty about it. Like, oh my Lord. So I think that's a really powerful phrase that you just posted there, Jessica. Thank you for that and putting it up there. Chris, Brittany, do either of you have anything to add to this sentiment?
Well, for all those out there that understand human design, and for all of my fellow projectors out there, this should be our slogan. Let it be easy.
Generators.
Generators too? Okay, there you go.
Yep.
I mean, I just love that.
I love that too. Awesome.
Yeah.
So
it's perfect, and I think that's really true. Like if what you're doing in your life isn't bringing you passion and it's not easy, maybe you need to re-examine it. Like, I had friends in California that were struggling as musicians, moved to Kentucky, bought a house for like $80,000 and are doing great there. So maybe it's your location that's not the right place, So thinking outside of the box, like maybe you let it be easy somewhere else,
Yeah.
Bird just flew to the window. Sorry.
That's some symbolism right there. Bird just flew to the window. Jeez. Oh, and I love it. You've got the Bhava dove on your side of the screen.
Yes, she does.
That's pretty fantastic. Amazing. Heather Foster. So we were just talking about you, Heather. I don't know if you saw it, but we were talking about a dream you had. We're going to have you on to talk about it more because it lines up with this Hopi prophecy that Brittany just read to us. But she says, when you follow your intuition and release all judgment, the stars will align. Yes, baby. Mm-hmm. Judgment is fear. Judgment is fear. So it was about releasing the fear and doing it anyway, letting it be easy again. Thank you for that, Heather. Self-judgment and other people's judgment and judgment of other people. That's a big one. Boy, that's a place where we can get stuck. Holy moly.
Well, like you just said, it all boils down to fear. All of the struggle, all of this, the grasping, the trying to hang on, all of this is just a fear of letting things go.
Yes. Yeah, it is. It is a fear of letting things go. And, humans are hardwired to resist change, even when we want it, even when it's good for us. For whatever reason, we just go, oh, no, we can't do that. And that's just the ego trying to keep us safe, trying to keep everything on an even keel. Expansion is uncomfortable. I like what you said earlier. I want to build on what you said earlier, Brittany. You said, something's wrong when you're uncomfortable. My take on that is a little bit different. When I'm feeling physically uncomfortable in my body, I feel like that's because my energy is expanding and I'm outside of my comfort zone, like my energetic comfort zone. Yesterday was a really good example. I have big, physical body anxiety and discomfort. And what I felt like it was, okay, I'm actually having an energetic expansion right now, which is really positive, but it is super uncomfortable in my body because my body's trying to navigate and understand this new energy that I'm coming into. And I think that's really the same thing. It's a different angle, a different way of saying what you did, which is if you're uncomfortable, something's wrong. If I'm uncomfortable, I haven't lined up with my expanded energy yet. But I thought that was an interesting way to look at the same concept at two different angles that I wanted to bring up as well.
Yeah, I do want to mention I've been physically uncomfortable too, and it has nothing to do with any of the people in my life or any of the situations. Nothing has necessarily changed on the outside, although at least not in my general vicinity. And I've been so physically uncomfortable that I'm I had to do a little digging. I had to use my mind and what's happening out there. And like you said, I'm into astrology. So I did want to give everyone a heads up. This Mars retrograde is going to be precisely conjunct Saturn, which is turning direct on the 29th of September. So right as Mars retrogrades stations, into a direct square with Saturn, Saturn's going to be turning direct. So this energy, it's like hitting a wall, like slamming into a wall, and it's really tight. This Mars is this fierce independence, this individual rights and my desires. This is what I want.
Yeah.
And then Saturn's all regulation, rules, timing, the government. It's just this big, it's like horns locking together. So that's been physically uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I also wanted to mention we have a solar flare coming. It's happening today and tomorrow. I think it's in the next 48 hours. We're having a geomagnetic storm hitting the Earth that's quite severe. Yeah. And it's the biggest one that's come in a year. And so that's going to affect us too. The sun sends all kinds of light codes and information down to the Earth. And right now it's getting hit hard. So this is incredibly intense. And yes, it's going to be physically uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I totally get that. There's an expansion happening for sure. And that could explain why there's this pressure. It just feels like this intense pressure.
It really does.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Heather has a great comment. When you follow what makes your soul excited, follow your soul's journey and find your joy. Judgment is the least of your worries. We are placed with families that help us find our voice in various ways, but we are not here for them. Ooh. We are here to also find other souls that align with our soul purpose. Finding your tribe makes life easier. The torches will light your path and the stars will shine. You will feel it in your core. So I have to say, everything about that comment makes me feel warm and fuzzy. Talking about finding our Bhava community is a lifeline for me. When things get ridiculous and when I am falling into my head or my ego space and I need support or just energetic hand holding, having a community that is able to do that without judgment, that is my soul tribe, that is my family, on my spiritual family on this path, has been the most valuable and amazing experience of my life. And it makes life so much easier. So opening yourself up to your tribe, and part of that is letting go of it needs to be hard. You need to go it alone. Letting go of that and allowing your tribe to show up for you. It's huge. It doesn't mean you don't go through the shit. You do. It doesn't mean you don't have your stuff, but having that tribe to hold you, for me, has been invaluable, has been everything. What do you two have to say?
I totally agree. I don't think I would have gotten through the last year without you guys.
It's been fun.
Yeah. This has been it's been a lifesaver for me. And I joined right before 2020 really started. So this has been such a rock your world kind of event this last year that, having Bhava to lean on, in a sense, or just as this extra dose of strength to carry me through this. It's putting me on the right path, in a sense. I believe that it happened just in divine timing that I started this right before. And honestly, I have 2 little kids too, so it hits me hard this year, all these changes. And having this community, it's been just life-changing. And I wanted to say again from this Hopi prophecy that I read, the questions, the things to consider at the beginning. Where are you living? Like Chris said, maybe it's where you're living. Where are you living? What are you doing? What are your relationships? Are you in right relation? Where is your water? Know your garden. It's time to speak your truth. Create your community. Be good to each other.
Oh my God. Everything about that in every aspect of my life is going, wow, wow, wow. Like, yes, I got it. What's really interesting is so many people are, we're all California natives. Chris, you ran away to Eugene because you felt cold there. I know. And many, many people have actually been leaving California and moving away from California, which has been really interesting for me to see. I mean, I've always had the desire to leave anywhere I am. I kind of want to be nomadic, which I was talking to you about earlier, but it's interesting to see how many people are up and leaving California. It makes you kind of think, okay, that's interesting. What are people feeling? What's that energy we're feeling? So maybe we'll feel into that one of these days. But, other people are feeling really good and solid in California. Don't want to leave. They want to stay. But, paying attention to where you are, your relationships, what puts you in flow, and every piece of your life contributes to your flow or not. And it's what we call living in partnership with spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Living in partnership with spirit is living in the divine flow. It's building your life so every piece of it is a spiritual practice, is an opportunity for spiritual expansion and an opportunity for spiritual flow. Ladies, how are you feeling? I'm feeling pretty complete with our panel. We've had some amazing questions. We've had some amazing topics. Does anybody want to share do either of you want to share anything, any last little tidbit, or are we free to go ahead and wrap us up?
I think I'm good. That was fantastic.
That was fantastic. I love you so much. How about I read our message one more time for anybody who joined in late and wants to hear it without going back and rewinding. And it's also great to do this again after we talked about it, because I find that tends to more layers set in. And even me who channeled this message, I'll read it and reread it and I'll get something new out of it, because these are not my words. These are words from spirit, dictated by Mons, my spirit guide. So those of you who channel, who are listening, and you two know this, like when you open up a channel, you don't retain it because it's not yours. It goes through and it's gone. So if you're watching, and you two gorgeous ladies, let's just take another deep breath. Close your eyes if you want to. Let's hear this one more time before we wrap up. Message from spirit. Picture the divine matrix, creation, as a great swelling, bellowing, flowing, churning body of water. You are made up of the same stuff as this watery divine energy, but you have something extra, a piece that enables you to experience yourself outside of this great body of divine water. That experience can take many forms. You can feel like you're floating on top of the water, like you're submerged in the water, like you're tumbling with the rapids, like you're swimming with the ecstatic current, or fighting against the flow. You can feel like you're floating, or you can feel like you are drowning. All of these experiences of the divine water are the ways you come to understand every layer of love, every sliver, every nuance, every dimension of creation, through the experience of separation from the great body of the divine. But all of this is only experience of separation. You are not truly separate. You are the divine water, like the wave is the ocean, separate from the great whole only for one glorious crescendo, and then warmly merging back with the whole, breathless with the exhilarating experience of separation. The point of your life, dear human, is to experience the divine water more fully than you ever have before. There is no right or wrong way to do this. But if you are tuning into this transmission, we invite you to shift your experience to a life of joyful play rather than fighting turbulence, if you wish it. The experience of suffering is the mind swimming against the divine current. We encourage you to surrender the will of the mind to the will of the divine and allow yourself to relax into your current experience, whatever that may be. We invite you to risk faith and see where the current of energy takes you. Every experience is begging to be savored, not pushed away. If you respond to our invitation in the affirmative, we guarantee you this: a full, meaningful, varied life, not without pain, but without needless suffering. You are divine. You belong with the divine. You are love. You belong with love. This experience of your separation is the journey home to more complete love. This journey is honored by all of creation. We delight in your adventures. Let it be easy. Surrender, and you will be rich in all things. Thank you so much, both of you. I appreciate you. This has been really fun. Thank you, everybody, who jumped on and shared your messages, your insights, your questions. All of that was just so great, so good. We're going to integrate today's message and our panel with a sound bath from our sweet Chris Blum. Chris is, you should follow her page, The Spirited Soul. She's got it listed there under her name. You do sound baths every week?
I have a podcast, so there's a lot to choose from. So it's anywhere from 5 minutes to hour-long ones.
Groovy. Yeah, go check it out. She's gorgeous. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. We're going to go ahead and integrate now. I love you all both madly. Thank you so much for your time and your wisdom today. I so admire you. I appreciate you. You inspire the hell out of me.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, thank you, thank you, thank you so much for jumping on and joining this sacred virtual circle. It is so much fun and so our pleasure to show up and deliver the message for Divine Spirit to help us cement in this new paradigm. And we as a community, the Bhava Spiritual Mission, we love to get together and connect and share our collective wisdom with you and glean from your wisdom as well. It's that patchwork quilt. We are all coming to understand bigger and better and more of the totality of creation and what Spirit has in store for us. If you enjoyed this broadcast, I would love for you to share it out with your friends, give it a like, give it a comment, give it some love, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and follow us on Facebook. We do this every single week. We're going to be back here next week, same time, different players. So we rotate our panel. I'll be here every time. Sorry. But we have different Bhava babes coming on to talk about the message and share their unique wisdom and their strength and their hope with you. And just the goal is just to help us move from fear to love. So thank you for being a part of that. And thank you for doing your part in bringing in this new earth. We love you. We love you. We love you. If you found this message valuable and you'd like to support our continued work and our continued messages, you can make a donation to the Bhava Spiritual Mission. We are legally structured as a church, so your donation is tax deductible. You can hit that link bit.ly/donate-bhava. You can make a one-time donation or you can make it a monthly thing. Every little bit helps, and we so appreciate you. If you would like to explore membership with the Bhava Spiritual Mission, please send me an email, Ingrid@bhavamission.org. I run a school. That school is to help you hone in on your spiritual gifts, strengthen your intuition, and find out what you are really a rock star at, and then help you bring your unique spiritual message out into the world on your own platform. I'm really good at seeing where people shine. I'm really good at seeing you in your highest potential and helping foster your energy so that you can expand into that. This is our community. This is what representative of from Chris and Brittany today. They are great representations of what our community is. It's not about judgment. It's about support. It's about love. It's about expansion. We have people from all walks of life in our community. We truly embrace the dogma of no dogma. We just want to help you be the best version you can be, however that shows up and feels best for you. Our goal is to give you a little bit of structure so you can go and create your own structure and share yourself as fully as possible with this great big world. Everybody is needed. Every single one of you is needed. So once again, thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you. I love you. I'm so looking forward to bringing you back next week and doing this again. Thank you for everything.